When you and I were boys back in the Midwest,
Right.
governments, federal, state, and local, were only taking about 15 cents out of every dollar earned. Today, they're taking almost half of every dollar earned in the United States. And most people don't realize it because the taxes are hidden in the so-called business taxes. You know, the politician that stands up and yells, oh, let's save the little man, let's tax business, and everybody yells hooray. But they haven't figured out that every tax on business is just a part of the cost of production. And the customer winds up paying it when he buys the product. It's a hidden sales tax. There's 116 of them in the suit of clothes that each one of us is wearing.
Suppose a lot of economists have suggested, and I don't know that it'll ever come to be in this country, that if they closed all of the loopholes and corporations and maybe tax loopholes and even on the rich certain loopholes and made a percentage income and made a flat fee without all of the deductions, that the government might raise as much money as they do now.
Oh, sure. And really, the loopholes, this has been overdone by the politicians, too.
No.
The bulk of the money that is taken by what are called loopholes are the legitimate deductions with which, if the people didn't have them, they couldn't pay their income tax. Interest on their mortgage, interest on the installments on their car, their property taxes on their home, if they have one, and so forth. These are, in politicians' eyes, loopholes. But we ought to have tax reform, and we ought to start by making it so simple that you don't have to hire a lawyer to find out how much you owe every year.
That's for sure. It used to be a little simplified, but not anymore.
Johnny, we live in the only country in the world where it takes more brains to figure out your income tax than it does to earn the income.
That'd be right.
We've gotten in the habit over the last 40 years of thinking the government has the answers. There's very little that government can do as efficiently in the...
All right, man. Welcome everyone back here at Horchata Time. We're here. We're actually episode 2 and take 2 of episode 2 because we actually attempted this and it didn't record. So we're back here at it again, putting in the work. Want to make sure that we're being consistent here and communicating to our people, to the Latino community, and anyone who's interested in listening to a different alternative point of view, listen politics, news, things that's going on. My name is Isaac Galvez. I'm here with, I'll go ahead and let everyone introduce themselves here today. Go ahead, brother.
What's up, y'all? It's Eli Martinez. You already know. Nickname Saul Martinez. I like using my middle name, but you already know we're just here, ready to discuss topics with my boys right here. We got Alfred and everybody right here. Hopefully you're having a blessed week. You had a blessed week. And yeah, let's start talking about what we got to talk about. You know, there's a lot of stuff that happened this past week, and yeah, let's get down to business.
How's everybody doing? Glad you guys are back listening. This is Alex Alfaro here. Please just understand that we're here not to tell you what to think. We're here to just give you alternative perspectives so that you can think with purpose, think for yourself. Don't take everything that we say at face value, and hopefully that's what you're doing with everything that you listen to on the news and all the media, because thinking for yourself means that you need to just get the perspective and actually do your own research. So again, we're not trying to tell you what to think. We're going to give you our opinions, and then you can research on your own and then formulate your own opinion. But our goal here is just to inform. So hopefully we can do that to the best of our ability.
Yeah, man. So thank you guys for, like you said, for tuning in here. So, you know, fellas, we're listening here to this clip real quick on the intro with Ronald Reagan. And, you know, Ronald Reagan, this is 1975. And I love listening to Ronald Reagan, man. You know, a lot of what he says, it's crazy when you listen back then. It's still current. It's the same game. It's the same game. It's, you know, the same issues,
same game,
solutions,
same scheme, same everything. Yep.
Exactly right. So, you know, I don't know.
Same game, different player.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, just different players. You know, same techniques, and that's what's important about paying attention. And thankfully, I think that after COVID, especially, I think a lot of people have woken up and they're actually paying attention and listening to the news. And you know, I thank God for that, because once you start paying attention, you'll start understanding how, you know, the pattern and the things that they do. You know, how they try to push agendas, how they control narratives. You know, if you listen here on Ronald Reagan, it's the same thing. You know, when we talk about taxation, you know, they're talking about, you know, tax the rich, right? Oh, tax the rich. We still hear that today. So I don't know if, You know,
Same story. Yep.
I don't know if did you guys hear listen to the angry State of the Union this week from
the grumpy old man speech
from Sleepy Joe.
I got something to say about that, which was pretty scary. But did you see how? To me, this is what it looked like. But how he threatened the Supreme Court justices over Roe v. Wade.
Yeah,
that was, and it's funny because I made a video on that. It's funny how he's allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But imagine, guys. Let me ask you this. What do you think if Trump would have done that to the Supreme Court justices?
Yeah, of course. MSNBC is already talking about how if it's going to be a dictatorship if Trump wins. Well, we're experiencing one now. Right. I mean, he basically just said what he was going to be. He's going to be a dictator, right?
Right.
Already threatening the Supreme Court, which is supposed to hold him accountable too. That's why we have all these different branches, is to hold each other accountable, right?
And the way he said it too, right, Alex? It's like. He said, like, in a way, like, you know how we grew up in the streets and when somebody or your parents tell you you're going to find out for not listening to me, watch. He might as well should have said that and pointed at them. You're going to find out. And that's exactly how he said it, bro. And you're like, I was like, wait, hold on. That sounds like a threat, bro. That does not sound like, we're going to have votes in a state like a constitution's supposed to have. No, he said you're about to find out. I don't know. To me, that looks like it sounds like a threat.
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, he's probably not even going to remember what he said anyway, so nothing's going to happen.
You cold, bro.
Oh, exactly right.
That's true. I said that. I don't remember saying that.
Sleepy Joe ain't gonna remember.
Yeah, sorry guys.
He was amped up on amphetamines, bro. You could tell that he was. That's not the usual. Bro, he was on something.
Oh, I just don't understand.
And I'm not saying that as fact. I'm just saying, giving you my opinion,
bro. But not only that, dude. It's like looking at him. I'm like, bro, this guy's. Like, he looks just super old, bro, as a president. Like, dude.
You know, what's crazy? I think he was like 20 minutes late, right? And yeah, man, it makes you wonder like how much drugs they pumped into him because, you know, after the next day when he's interviewing, I mean, he's back to being slow again, Sleepy Joe again,
yeah.
And to be honest with you guys, I mean, the bar is low, right? Obviously, I think for him, the success was the fact that, you know, I don't know if you guys saw the article. He's like the next day where he's alive, you know, because he actually didn't die. So the fact that he didn't like have a stroke or pass out, I guess that made it like, man, he did a great job, right? Because the bar was so low for him. But yeah, man, it's so crazy. I mean, you hear, you know, again, guys, you know, we don't have evidence for this. It's just us using our own common sense. Yeah. And when you start hearing, you know, that whole, what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, you've heard, you know, people talk there in the White House that, you know, say that they witness and, you know, they have information and people coming out and saying that they actually do drug the heck out of that guy before they go out there. And, you know, I don't see, you know, there might be people listening to this and being like, you know, that's ridiculous. I mean, is it really ridiculous? I mean, do you not listen to him and just see how he goes from being Sleepy Joe to, you know, actually being able to be coherent enough to do a whole State of the Union address? I mean, how do you explain that?
Bro,
yeah.
Like...
And I've only seen that one other time, and that was when he did a debate against Trump the last election, because that was the only time I saw him actually be able to
kind of talk.
Kind of talk and have a conversation with somebody. Other than that, everything that we've seen these last 4 years is him stumbling and fumbling and the ghost the ghost attacking him. I believe
fumbling and mumbling.
No. I believe in ghosts now because they're always tripping this guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, he's
that's the new phrase. Honestly, bro,
I believe in ghosts.
Stumbling, fumbling, and mumbling.
Here you go. Stumbling, fumbling, mumbling.
Bro, it's like I don't get it, guys. I don't understand how. It's like, how do you do it, bro? Like, you're this old. I would retire. I'd be like, man, you know what? As much as I don't like her, I'd be like, Camila, I'm too old for this girl. You take the wheel, whatever.
Yeah, and all of Trump's presidency, they were saying that he was too old, right? And then the one time that he actually tripped down that little ramp or whatever, we never heard the end of that the entire time.
Right.
This dude trips on a daily basis, and they don't say anything about it, right?
Yeah. It's
ridiculous.
Yeah, if you go back to, if you guys remember when John McCain was running against Obama, the knock on McCain was that he was too old to be president.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, he's too old to be president. And so, if you're out there, and again, I hate to be combative, but it's just the reality, man. If you voted for this guy, I really hope that you look back and one of the problems is this. I think that the big issue, it all comes down to ego and pride, right? I think people don't like to admit that they're wrong. People struggle with that. We're all human, and I think we all can understand that. But at the same time, these are serious issues, and I really hope that people that did vote for him can at least go back and humble themselves and say, man, I really made a mistake. I really screwed up because.
Yeah, and even if you don't, man, even if you decide not to humble yourself, but go in there and vote. You don't got to tell anybody. You don't got to tell all your Republican friends that you changed your vote.
Right.
I don't care. Just go vote right,
bro. Not only that, but this is my thing, bro. I don't get it. Like, I get you hate Trump so bad. Like, the way I see Trump is that he is a boss, bro, and he as long as his action shows you're not trying to tax me high, just like the video right now where Ronald Reagan was explaining the tax stuff. Bro, I don't care what you have to say. It's your freedom of speech. Am I going to get offended? Maybe a little bit. Okay, yeah. But it's not going to ruin my day. What will ruin and piss me off more is how I can't get enough gas prices to go down. I can't go buy enough groceries for my families. My interest rates and a lot of things. You're a businessman. You guys work hard too. It's like, that is what I care. Whatever you say, cool, bro. I'll get over it eventually. I mean, we grew up in the Latino community. We know we have that one family member that sometimes the things he says, he gets into our skin. And yes, we're Christians and we hold back. But it's like, as long as you don't physically and financially hurt me, bro, say whatever you want. Just don't take my money how you're supposed to. How you're not supposed to.
Right.
Yeah, it's when you go back, you kind of brought something to mind is when you go back and you listen to that speech. Did he speak to anything that actually is impacting your life? Did he actually propose a solution, or it's the State of the Union, so that's supposed to be like, hey, this is what we've done,
and this is what we're gonna do,
and this is what we're gonna do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So in that whole speech, did he actually tell you how? Like what
his
your
accomplishments?
Yeah, what did he accomplish? Did he lower your gas? Is inflation down? He's claimed the guy flat out lied, and we all know it. I mean, he claimed that the inflation was down. Inflation is not down. I mean, we all know that. We go to the grocery store. Right. We put gas. We buy things all the time.
Yeah, man, he also claimed that he cut the deficit.
Right.
No way, bro.
Yeah, right.
There's how?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And I think this is where people confuse it. The stock market and the economy, they're completely different. The stock market could be good, but like you said, it has to do with inflation. Did that sweater that you saw last time, or food and anything, why is it more expensive now? But yet a couple years ago, you're like, hey, bro, that sweater was like 10 or 20 bucks.
Man, I had to buy a new trash can for my kitchen. A little top thing, you push it, because we have a little dog that he'll just he'll get into the trash, so we got to have a top to it.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get that's $50, man. $50
trash can.
That's like the cheapest trash can I can find was $50, man. I don't know if you guys saw this too. My wife was telling me this today that Five Guys, I guess that I don't know if this just came out today, but I guess something's going viral where there's people posting the receipts because they went and got a burger, a soda, and a drink, and it was like $25 at Five Guys.
Yeah.
Something like that,
bro.
I mean, everything is costing that. It's not just Five Guys. Anytime you're going to eat out, you're going to spend $30-$40 at fast food. You go to a restaurant, you're going to at least spend $100, $150.
Right.
Yeah,
okay. Let me ask this, y'all. Let me ask y'all both of this. Why do you think, right? Why do you think a lot of these people, right? A lot of people on the left, why do they feel like, okay, are they either just going with it because they don't like Trump? Or sadly, it has to be that they're not working as hard as we do, bro. What do y'all think? Like, this is where I'm like, bro, okay, I get the fact you hate Trump, fine. All the power to you, you can hate him. But don't sit here and say, yeah, the country's great. Look at us. And
have you ever seen a pro-Biden post?
Man, no.
The entire time. In the past 4 years, or before he was even. Have you ever seen that? It's always anti-Trump.
Did you guys ever see Obama? There was a lot of Obama push. Remember Hope? It was his picture.
Yeah, right.
Like, okay, I get it. I don't like the guy. I don't know a lot about it, but that looks pretty cool because he's saying hope. What have y'all seen something like? I mean, you guys are
No.
older than me. Something that says
but you
Biden or something.
and that's the thing. It tells you everything right there. It's not even about what
The country.
Biden can do
Yeah,
for
for the
us.
country,
It's about
right.
just not having Trump, right?
Yep.
And that's something that was created. I mean, the hatred towards him was created. Before he ran, he was beloved.
Yep.
You
Right.
know, at the
Yep.
end of the day, the guy was beloved, and he was beloved by everybody.
if
He
you
was
bring
beloved
up
by-
articles right now that you have
There's
your
this-
laptop, many people songs. People said, "Yeah, Trump this, Trump," and now all of a
Yeah, I
sudden
mean,
it's like
Trump wasn't a racist until he ran for president,
That's
right?
crazy,
And he
bro.
wasn't, and until he ran for president as a Republican, because
Yep.
he was a big donor for the Democrat Party, and he was.
Yeah, at the
he was frequent with the Clintons, and he was part of that.
He even said it.
Yeah.
Right? He said it. He was a businessman. I had to get along with everybody.
Right.
And that's true. As a business person that we know, they want to get along, even though they're like, "Oh heck no, bro, you're big time leftist." But if you're gonna buy something for me, or like a complex or a penthouse, and you got money, oh heck yeah, bro, go ahead, buy it. You know.
Yeah, you know,
business.
The thing about Trump is, again, we talked a little bit about this on the last episode. The problem with him, again, I just want to remind everybody, for myself, I'm not this diehard Trumper, right?
No,
but
me
definitely
neither.
voting for Trump because he is the best candidate and he is our best option. And I wouldn't even say that it's a case of, it's the lesser of two evils. He's actually has, in my opinion, been the best option since Ronald Reagan. In Ronald Reagan was, I was a kid, but I listened to Ronald Reagan a lot. I listened to his speeches. And
Calls out the government a lot.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
Ronald Reagan was the real deal, and that's why they tried killing him, right? People forget, and so I think that he was actually the last real president that we had that was not a puppet, and again, I also want to, I'll go into a little different tangents here, but at this point, it's obvious that Sleepy Joe is not running the government.
Oh yeah.
I know there's people out there that, conspiracy theorists, that there's a shadow government, a one world order, a Bilderberg group, shadow, what else they call them? The executive, the administrative state, whatever you want to call it, whoever is behind, there's obviously someone behind making decisions. Do you really think that Biden sits there listening to his generals and understands what's even going on in the room?
Yeah, his whole administration is a bunch of Obama appointees.
Right.
Right. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Here, now that you brought up, right, you said, "Oh, I'm not a diehard Trump supporter. I'm more of a constitutionalist." I always say that. Everybody's different, right? I'm gonna ask you first.
Mm-hmm.
What was the moment that you saw where you were like, "You know what? I think this guy. I think I'm rocking with him. I think I'll give him my vote." What moment or what speech or something that you remember that you were like, "I think I'm gonna give this guy a shot."
Well, the thing about me is that I've been understanding a lot of this since Obama first ran, which was it 2006?
Okay.
Right? So 2006. Am I wrong about that? Yeah, right.
Yep,
So 2006 is actually kind of that was my red pill time, because when I started listening to Obama, I would listen to his speeches. And I'd be like, that's interesting, because I used to be big into like NLP and just speaking and that sort of thing.
Right.
And when I would listen to him, I'd be like, man, this guy's a master NLP manipulator, man. He is. He is.
Scam artist, basically.
Yeah.
You're straight up. You're like, yeah, bro,
whatever you want to call it, but he would say a lot of things that sounded really nice, but he really wasn't saying anything.
Yeah. Obama was very good at lying to the American people eloquently, right?
Right.
And I give him that. The way he talked, right?
Trump
Alex?
is brutal with the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Two
straight
different.
Yeah.
Lying eloquently or brutal with the truth. What do you want? Somebody to lie to you or somebody to give you brutal honesty, right?
So to answer your question though is yeah. So by the time you get through 8 years of Obama hell, and in those times there wasn't as many people that were awake. It was a very lonely time for me, anyways, and just one other person that I talked to every day about these things and understood. But when Donald Trump came, I really didn't know if he was going to win, but I did like him because I've known of Donald Trump. I mean, we all know, right? Like his culture, right? So for me,
Home
it was
Alone. I saw him in Home Alone, and then when people would say, "You know who that dumb?" No, it's funny now. And sorry to interrupt you. I'll go back to it. It's funny because when people mentioned Donald Trump to me the first time, I was like, "Wait, who's Donald Trump again?" And they're like, "Remember your favorite movie, Home Alone 2?" I was like, "Yeah, the guy that told him that the lobbies." I was like, "Oh, that's him. He's running for president." Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I guess. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hit TV shows,
Right.
You know, all the rappers
That's where
rapped
I
about
remember
him. I
only,
mean,
but-
come on.
Yeah, and so just the fact that he was an outsider was already a win for me. But with that said, I mean, I am a conservative and I vote on issues. So he was saying all the right things. Right. You know, he was speaking to the truth. Like he was the only one out actually coming out and speaking, you know, about our border issues, you know, trade with China, you know, being self-sufficient, you know, drilling oil and having our own energy.
Yeah,
you
Just
know,
like a straight punch in the face, like,
yes.
bro. Listen,
I mean,
like,
those are the things that, you know, asking the question, like, why do we have military bases all over the world? We're spending all this money with, you know, on having our military. We're not the police of the world. I mean, all that stuff resonated.
And why are we the only ones giving so much money to all these countries and you know, in NATO, nobody else is doing their job.
so
Nobody else is doing their part.
That was your turning point, basically.
Well, no, I mean, at that
No,
point.
but at that point you were like, okay, this guy.
No,
yeah.
he's legit, but I actually wanted Dr. Carson.
Oh, he's good too. I'm not gonna.
So
I
remember,
like,
Dr. Carson was running against us. So Dr. Carson was my guy. And so when Dr. Carson
I would've
dropped
given him a
out, I'm
shot.
like, all right, well, I'll go with Trump.
I would have Dr. Carson if he would have went. I'll go last. But what about you, Alex? What was the moment that you were like, you know what, bro? This guy is just. Wow, like you were like, okay, this is because, like he said, I was kind of like that too, and I'll talk from my opinion. But what was where you were like?
For me, it was
okay,
the
bro.
worst of two evils at this point because
Okay.
I wasn't always a Republican. I grew up just, you know, in a house where we were, as Latinos, we're supposed to vote Democrats for the people and
The middle class and
And
all that.
I'm gonna be honest, I never really paid attention to politics enough to know the difference, right? And I was one of those guys that would go out and vote just according to what I was supposed to vote, not with no understanding. What we're actually trying to teach people to do now, the opposite of what I was doing, right? Because most people are still doing that. But I have a good friend, Anthony Trimino, which a lot of you know, who actually ran
Cool guy, man.
against Newsom. So I would go smoke cigars with him and another friend of mine, Bill Daniels. And they were the ones trying to convince me to vote for Trump, right? So Bill actually gave me a book, Hillary's America, right? And I'm an avid reader, so I went and knocked that book out. And once I read that, I was
were
like,
like,
oh,
whoa.
you know, yeah. I said this chick is the most corrupt
The devil.
person in the history of the world. Okay, so it was for me. It was just no, I'm not voting for her. No way.
And it's like either I go with him and
It was vote for Trump, and then I started to pay attention to how the media was portraying him, how as soon as he started to call out the establishment or the swamp,
Right.
everybody was against him. All of a sudden, he's a racist, right? I mean, this guy, he's taking pictures with Tyson, he's taking pictures with the rappers and Snoop Dogg and all these guys. Like all of a sudden, he's a racist, right?
Won an award with Muhammad Ali,
yeah,
Rosa
Al
Parks.
Sharpton and Jesse Jackson had pictures with him. He received an NAACP award, right? A Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, come on. You know, he's the one that upgraded MLK's birthplace to a historic park. Does that sound like a racist to you? You know, and then I
MLK,
started
bro, that's
and then I
crazy.
started to pay attention to the news and how they would take what he's saying and do their short clips to create a narrative, right? The whole narrative about him saying that there was two people on good sides and he's never denounced the KKK. Right. Dude, 2 seconds before he even said that there's two people on both sides, he denounces the.
Right.
But
They just cut it.
Right. But they programmed people to hate a man that they've never met before.
Right.
And that's how you know you've been programmed, right?
Right.
Because if you have an emotional hatred towards somebody that you've never had an interaction with or you never met before, that means
Everything's
that
gonna
means
bug you.
you've been told how to feel about somebody without ever knowing. That means you've been programmed, you've been hypnotized to believe something.
yeah.
And they do a great job. The media, that's what they do. They hypnotize the population. That's what it's for.
That's pretty scary.
Television, right? Television means what? Tell somebody a vision.
True. That
All
does
right.
sound right.
TV
Tell
programming means what? programming.
Somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all there, dude.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually curious to hear from you because I realized after we left the first time that you're my daughter's age. So you're like 27, 28
Yeah,
years old, right?
28.
So you're young,
Yeah.
man. So honestly, it's
You wanna
pretty
hear?
it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
It's actually very encouraging that you're to know that there's kids out there like you that actually understand what's going on and actually care.
Yeah, because
right?
you're the future, brother.
You're the future.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. That's the bottom line.
That's right.
And it's scary to see the other side of the future, right?
So I think this goes right. Okay, so it goes way back with my thing, right? And shout out to my cousin. He knows who he is, Marvin Castro. Love you, primo. This guy, bro, didn't go to college, but he was a hardworking. And the first thing that made me get into government was he talked about the Federal Reserve. And he said I remember if it was he brought out a dollar bill or a bill. He's like, hey, you know this, right? And I was like, yeah, it's money. You think it's worth anything? And I was like, yeah, it's worth $20. And he's like, it's just paper. How is it worth something, Eli? And that kind of opened my mind. But I think the funniest part, and this is where I gave him a shot. I gave Trump and I said, yeah, I'm going with this guy. That same cousin years later, right, when Trump was running, he's like, hey, I'm going to send you a video. What do you think of it, right? So I wasn't into politics, but he sends me the video, right, of when Trump tells Jeb Bush, oh, let me talk. Quiet. And then I was like, oh, but as a guy that I am, humor, I was like, dang. And then when I said, you know what, man, let me hear this guy, because that was funny to be telling, you know how people say, oh, don't disrespect politicians and all this, you know how it is.
No decorum. No.
But I think what convinced me is when he called out everyone in his panel. And I noticed how they were, even Ted Cruz at the time, Marco Rubio, all these guys were like, yeah, he's this, he's that. But then I'm like, wait, hold on. He's calling out Marco Rubio at the time, who was in major in debt, which he got him good when he said, this guy's supposedly trying to fix the economy, but he has major debt with houses and he has major debt with credit cards. So how is that? I was like, okay, that's true, bro. How can you fix the economy if you're in major debt? And then with Ted Cruz, that he was, he talked about Ted Cruz saying, he's like, yeah, you've been a senator, you've been doing this, and you can't get nothing done. So I think what motivated me more was this, how he called out his own people, bro. And if we grew up in the Latino community, we're willing to call out our own family members. We see them going the wrong direction. We're like, hey, bro, you got to fix that, dog. You really got to change that. You're not going the right way. And that's what he was doing. I was like, bro, this guy is a realist. For him to say all these things that America has done and say, I want to fix it, that's what I want. And then I think, like you said, he didn't sound like a politician.
He's
That's
not.
what I liked.
He's not. And that's
He
what
was,
people
like you
hate
said,
about him too, is that he's not refined. He's not lying
Right.
to you eloquently like politicians do.
And that's how I grew up.
He's a brutal, honest, upfront person, and people can't stand that. And but who can stand brutal honesty, really?
Right. No.
Nobody.
And
Nobody,
that's
right?
that's what I'm saying. That turning point was how he brought that into politics, because that's how I grew up with my family members. The Latino community. If you suck at something, bro, they're gonna tell you, hey, bro, you suck. You gotta get better. My family's like that. They don't want to see you fail, and that's what I liked about him. He said, look, we're not winning anymore. We have to fix it. We can't just keep. So I think that's where I said, yeah, I'm gonna give him a shot. And then, like you said, when he debated Hillary Clinton, oh my goodness, all the stuff I think the biggest one was this one, is when he said, you deleted 30,000 emails. I said, yeah, she's a politician. Trump all the way. Because imagine, why would you, that's already sketchy, bro. Deleting 30,000 emails and you're saying, yeah, I'm clean and right, he's the dirty one, but you deleted a bunch of emails for what? I said, yeah, this guy's legit. I got to give him my vote. There's no way.
Yeah.
But that's my answer, is that just seeing how he would call it out to fix things. And that's how I grew up, bro, is you fix things by calling it out.
Yeah, I think it's you're pointing out something that like it's brutal honesty. People don't like brutal honesty,
Facts.
and it's funny because I told my wife this my kids too, because my kids were little. I got this from my mom. Like if my kids are wearing something weird that I don't like, I'll say it. Like
You
my
look weird.
son, my son, like he he'd wear like his nice jackets to, you wear hoodies, you got a hoodie on right now.
Right.
So I didn't realize, well, my son doesn't have any hoodies. So he'd be lounging around the house with some shorts and pajama pants, but with like a nice jacket on.
Okay.
So it'd drive me nuts. And then he'd just,
like, why?
and he'd just go outside like that. And I'm like, dude, I don't look good,
Right.
But you don't care. Or, I tell my wife, is like, I'll ask her, I'll be like, hey, do these shoes look good with these pants? Or, I grew up around girls, man. I'm the only boy, so I kind of got a little bit of that in me. But it's funny because my wife, if I said something to her and I'd say, hey, I don't like the way that looks, right? Like I don't like that shirt, right? And she'd be like, oh, that's mean. You know what would be mean is letting you go out
And people laugh at
something like that. Right? That would be mean.
Right.
I mean, I would actually appreciate it if I'm over here wearing a tank top and I don't got it like that. You know what I mean? Like, let me know. Like, bro, you don't got the body to be walking out with no tank top. Okay,
No,
so don't
facts.
go out. Thank you. I appreciate
So
that.
brutal honesty is basically what
Yeah,
you're saying.
brutal honesty, man. I think it's actually good. It's actually being loving, is being truthful.
All right, now this one is going to be good. Alfred, what was the moment, bro, that you said, I am voting for Trump? Let's hear Alfred, because I've never asked him this question, but he's the camera guy, and we love him. You shout out to you, bro. But what was the moment, Alfred, that you saw Trump, and you said, all right, bro, I got to give this guy a shot?
Well, you guys know that I was not I wasn't a politician. I was like, I was
Into
like
politics, yeah.
Politics, yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter was when when I got taken advantage by Obama twice. You know what I mean? And
He straight up said it. He's like, bro, that guy scammed me.
I gotta say it. And the thing was that Obama was a good talker. You know what I mean? He sweet talked everybody. If you pay attention to what Obama said in the beginning,
He was a good politician.
Right.
I mean, he knew what to say and when to say it and how to say it.
He knew how to tickle ears, basically,
Yeah.
right? Say,
Yeah.
ooh, that sounds good. Like the way he talks, like, my fellow Americans, I think that this is like, damn, bro, you sound.
And then it's hope, right? Who's gonna be against hope?
Right. But go ahead, Alfred. Where was
Yeah.
the moment where you said, bro, all right, I got to give this guy a shot. I got to give Trump.
Well, what it was is after after I started understanding that everything he was talking about, it was words and no action, right? It's kind of like a dog, right? It barks but no bite. You know what I mean? And so for me, I started seeing that like, whoa. And so I just started doing a little research on who Obama was, and then I started looking. Well, he comes from Illinois. He's from Chicago. And then I started looking at some of the policies that were rendered in Chicago, and I just started like, what the hell is going on? Like, this guy destroyed Chicago, right? Because of what he intentionally brought in this state. I mean, this, and some people are gonna say you're a conspiracy theorist, whatever. Look it
How
up.
dare you?
It's available out there. Look at how, when he was a politician there in Illinois, he destroyed that area. Everybody was against each other.
And it's still destroyed. It's still a mess today.
Well, exactly.
It's probably worse, huh?
And we're seeing the same thing here now in California. And I look at Governor Newsom. I'm looking at 2007. He destroyed San Francisco, right? He comes back in here, and now this is the guy that wants to be a president, right? But in fact, exactly what you guys are talking about. I started looking into the back end and as far as getting conscious and voting and making sure that these policies add up with what I felt. And when I met Trump, I was like, dude, mean tweets or bribes? And I'm like, golly, you know what I mean? Like, I just said like, I everybody was just mean tweets. And then now, I'm looking at all this stuff, and
It's
I'm like,
brutal honesty, right?
Right.
That's
Brutal
all
honesty.
it is. It's not mean tweets. It's just brutal honesty.
Like, do you
Yeah.
remember a family member, Alfred, right now that you can remember that was always brutally honest? And yeah, it may have bugged you, but you were like, all right, bro. He
Thank
is
you.
telling me the truth.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that.
Do you remember a
Appreciate it.
time? Because
Yeah.
I would say my uncles and cousins, and shout out to y'all. You know who y'all are if you see this podcast. They were like that, bro. They were like, hey, bro, when I was overweight, younger, I was big. I was like a meatball. They were like, bro, you're fat. You got to go get skinny. Straight up.
You can't say that anymore, bro. You can't say
Oh,
that
yeah.
anymore.
Oh, okay. You're a plus size king. Sorry. They're going to laugh at me when they hear this. But they were brutally honest. And it's funny because, like you said, always the mom, oh, son, don't listen to that. And this. But they were like, bro, go get on that treadmill. Trust me. And thank God to them, bro. That stuck in my mentality as everything has to be brutally honest, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alfred, do you remember a family member who was like Trump that would tell you things and they were brutally honest and you were like, okay, it kind of pisses me off, bro, but you're right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we all do. We all do. We just try to ignore it, right? Because we think that they're being mean, right? But the reality is they're being honest. You know what I mean? They want you to understand what they're trying to tell you.
Yeah, in reality, you can't ignore that. See, because stuff like that, brutal honesty penetrates the subconscious. So once it's there, you can't unhear something like that, and it'll start to affect you.
Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Whatever Trump was doing, bro, he was being honest, and I started understanding, like, dude, like, really, like, just like he said, I love it when, when he called out Hillary Clinton on that walkway, it says, something about, but you'll be in jail. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
no.
Do you guys
She
remember
asked
that
him.
clip?
She's like, it's a good thing that Donald Trump is not holding holding the power of the law in our country, and he just goes like, because you'd be in jail.
Right.
Like, that was another one. But I think the best part about that one, and that's the other one that I like. Right, this will be my last point on that, is when he told Hillary Clinton, he's like, you were a senator for 47 years. You could have changed the tax codes.
Right.
And now you're calling me out?
Yeah, and
That
that's
one, I was like, oh, bro.
And you circle back to the State of the Union, and you have Sleepy Joe up there, and the guy's been in politics longer than most people have been alive.
That's crazy.
And so what's he going to do different? Like all of a sudden now that you're, I don't know, how old is this?
Now
dude?
that you're senile, you
now
know,
that
fix
you're now
everything.
81 or 80 something years old, now you're going to fix it.
Right.
And obviously, yes, people are going to say, well, it takes more than one, but yes, you're technically right. Yes, I understand.
And you talk about racist, man. This dude in office,
Bruh.
the entire time he was in office, he was
Dropping
said the most
N-word
racist, most racist things that there were. I mean, he was part of. He wrote, what was that?
The criminal bill,
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
The criminal bill.
Yeah, he was part of writing that. That's the 3 strikes law that came into effect that incarcerated a bunch of minorities.
That's true.
Right at the time. I mean, and then what does Trump do? Right, he brings the
First Step Act.
crime. Yeah, the First Step Act.
That's the main one. That
And 70% of the people released from jail were black. Yeah, if he's a racist, he's the worst freaking racist in the world.
Yeah, he's really horrible.
Yeah,
Like
he's,
another
he's
guy that
doing
said-
really bad at being a
a
racist.
content creator said, if that's racism, give me more of that.
Yeah,
I remember that. And he was a
seriously.
black content creator. He
Yeah,
said.
he actually, I was thinking his name. He passed away.
Yeah, I think it's King something. Or,
Something King actually got one of his hats. Anyhow.
Yeah,
But yeah, I actually
Oh,
wanted.
that's right, huh? He
He's
did
the one that
pass
said
away.
it. He was telling, and then it was crazy because he was telling his boys in that. If you see that video, he's like, "Bro, if that's racism, I need more of that. I like it."
I like it. I like it. I actually wanted to ask you guys this too. What's getting. I read on the news that the number one topic right now, even higher concern. Well, the highest, the number one concern Americans have right now, even over the economy, is the border crisis, right? And I've been until really recently kind of just been like, man, I'm just so sick of hearing about the border, like whatever, like nobody's gonna do anything about it. But man, I think at this point, it's so bad. I don't know if you guys have seen, Dr. Phil. He's going around because he wrote a book.
Yeah.
And he's going around making the rounds right now, and he's talking about the conversation he had. He went to the border, and I guess he was talking to Border Patrol, and they were talking to him about how they're seeing these kids. And we've heard this. I mean, I didn't need to hear it from him. We've already been hearing about these kids coming over with phone numbers and contact information written on their arms. And, the Border Patrol will then call and ask the person, hey, or can you take this kid? And Dr. Phil asked this person and said, hey, how do you guys know if this child isn't being sex trafficked?
Right.
Is it possible that you're actually sending this kid to some
The
sort of
trafficker.
a trafficker
Straight up
and,
giving
Or
it
an
to
organization that traffics kids.
right? And I guess the person you talked to said, we know that's happening,
Of course.
right?
But they can't do anything about
But they
it.
can't do anything about it. So, again, speaking to, our Latino community, they don't, and again, I don't think they sit there and say, hey, let's get these Latino kids. Cause I don't know if these are all necessarily just Latino kids, or what ethnicity they are, but they don't care. And, if we go back to the whole kids in cages situation, in hindsight now, when you were talking about
Separating kids
separating
from their
family,
parents.
Kids in cages.
and,
Yeah.
right, and you had the Trump administration trying to explain, and the media would suppress this, that they were separating kids because they wanted to confirm that they actually were coming with their parents.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And so now we're not doing that anymore. Now these kids are coming over, and we're just handing them off to somebody that they're not even being vetted.
Random. Yeah. Well, I think there was even a video, if you saw viral, it was pretty sad, bro. It got me a little emotional. Is where this kid's walking abandonedly
Yeah.
into America, and they asked him like, "Hey, what happened? Where? Oh, my parents threw, like, I guess put me in through here," and it's pretty sad because I don't understand, like, some of our raza that leans left, they're like, "Oh, well, he's just trying to be better or have a dream. What is it like? Accomplish a dream here." I'm like, bro, if I was a kid, I want to be with my parents, bro. I don't care about coming here. My dad and my mom as a kid, and you know this, your dad. You just give your son a hypothetical. Hey, son, what would you do if I just threw you across the Mexican border? How would you feel? As a kid, you'd be like, man, bro, like, I don't care. I want to be with my parents. I don't care about this.
And
go ahead, Mil.
No, and the video you're talking about, the kids walking down a dirt road in the
Like the desert or something.
Yeah, in the desert, and the agent pulls up next to him, and the kid's telling him that he was with the group and they abandoned him, and he was afraid. And he even said that he was afraid that that he would get abducted. Right, I'm pretty sure that's what the kid was saying. So he was a little Mexican, I'm assuming he's Mexican. He could have been somewhere else because he's a Latino kid, and who knows what happened with the kid. And this is what they're doing, man. This is, again, I remind people that are listening to this that let's go back to Trump being persecuted for separating kids from supposedly their families that we don't really know.
Right.
Don't you think that's probably a good idea, knowing what's going on right now? Because this is what's going on right now.
I mean, if it happened to you, if it was your child, think about it for a second, right? If it's your child and they're taking them across the border, wouldn't you want the border patrol to stop and confirm that this person that he's going across the border with is somebody of relation or somebody
Relative.
a relative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Friend.
immediately how you stop that from happening. That's the very first thing that you have to do.
Well, I think me as a...
But they spun it the way they spun it.
You go ahead, because I'm not a parent yet. I'll go after you guys.
No, man, it's I know I'll probably get comments. Well, hopefully we get a lot of comments.
Yeah,
get a lot of
Good or bad, it
comments.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But I understand, please, that we're just talking, man, and I've never, thank God, I've never been in a desperate situation where I felt that I would send my kids out alone with strangers, because this was likely strangers that abandoned him. I doubt his aunt, and if that is his aunt, that was a bad decision to send them with that aunt or uncle that they were with. So it clearly wasn't family. So that you're sending your kid out there like that, it makes me wonder. Well, number one, I'm like, man, I don't relate to that. I don't see a scenario. I think about when when I was a kid, that my parents would send me and my sisters out on a plane to Mexico by ourselves with just the steward. The stewardess would escort us. I couldn't do that with my kids, but let alone, hey, go take this journey across this desert where we know a lot of people die and there's a lot of danger, and so who was waiting for this kid at the other end? Like, what's going on? And I guess I want to ask, and I never really thought about it. What do you think they're telling these people? Like, what do you think they're telling these people that is encouraging them to do this?
The border's open. I think it has to. Well, first, like you said, if I were a parent, I think I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't see myself sending it, even if it was like my brother. I would rather be in the country that I supposedly was supposed to be in, right? Like, if I'm sending them from Guatemala, than to risk their lives, bro. Like, what if something happens? What ifs?
Yeah.
The what ifs start going through your head. So I can't see myself doing that, bro. Even if it's for the pursuit of happiness, I'll find a way for both of us. I'd rather take my time in that country and say, I'm going to do it the legal way, even if it takes me to be an old man, but to get you to America the legal and safe way, I'll do that than risk us going through that river. And if something happens to you. But I think the second part, like you said, is they're selling them a dream. They're saying, hey, the border's open. There's all these things. Just go, risk your life. And if you can't make it, send your kids and all that stuff. That's the only way, bro, that they're saying that.
Look, this is the way I see it, man. So let's say a high percentage is actually, people sending their kids and to have a better life or whatever, right? Okay. Let's say that it's a high percentage. 95% are actually doing that to better the kids' lives. Let's just say that, okay?
Okay.
But there's still 5% that are being trafficked. I don't care if it's 1%.
Yep.
That 1% should be enough for you to do that separation.
Right.
That's it. I don't care. Even if it's 99%. And same thing with the border. If it's 99% of the people are actually coming here for better lives and to live in the United States because it's great. And according to the rest of the world, this is the greatest country in the world, right? Because why would everybody want to come here, right? But, unfortunately, some of the citizens here in the United States think otherwise.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then go to one of the other places that these people are coming from, right? But see, even if it was just 1%,
Yep.
even if it's just one child that's being trafficked,
It should be enough.
is enough
Yeah.
to do what they were doing before when Trump was in office. Separate them.
Let's put
And
your
it's not put them in cages. The cages.
I'll take
and
the
they-
mean tweets, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take the mean tweets.
And they talk about Trump's putting them in cages. Who built the cages to begin with?
Mama.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you know what? Man, it's
Well, put yourself in those shoes, both of you guys. How would you feel? And I'm not saying, Lord forbid that ever happens, but how would you feel if one of your kids ended up getting sex trafficked, bro?
No, bro. Listen,
How would you?
I don't
Your
even- I
mind.
don't-
What were your? We like.
Well,
Imagine.
no, my mind can't go there, but
Right.
But what I want
I'm
to
just saying,
what,
as I
what,
believe.
what I want to say is that it's a fact. This is happening, guys. The United States is the #1 consumer of sex trafficking.
Facts.
Yep.
That's a
facts.
fact, right? So logically, common sense, guys, it's happening, and it's interesting because we're technically aiding and abetting. We're paying for, we're funding this right now. Your taxpayer dollars are funding this right now. That should be upset. It's discouraging. And me too. I mean, what do we do, guys? I mean, think about it. This is happening right now. Right now,
Get
there's
Trump
kids,
in office to actually build the wall, right?
Well,
Could've-
yeah, but
Fire a couple people right now,
But,
and when he gets in.
yeah, but it's
Let
happening.
the border patrol do their jobs.
Yeah, it's
So much.
happening every day, though, guys.
Yeah.
It's every day right now. There's a kid being trafficked. Probably right now, there's a kid in a room, probably being molested, being abused right now, and your kid's at home, chilling. And we paid for that. And furthermore, and I want to say this, man, because this, I hate, kind of an "I told you so," but man, the people who voted for Sleepy Joe Biden. It's hard for me not to get pissed off about it because your decision caused this.
Thank you, 81 million.
Yeah.
81 million. I doubt that.
Right, me too.
But anyway,
But he has a point.
Yeah,
that was all them, bro.
Yeah.
That was, and the funnier part, like you said, bro, it was all based on emotion, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Of course.
oh, he
You don't
said
like
this,
mean tweets.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness,
He's
bro.
not presidential, but so we're that's more important than keeping kids safe.
Yeah. Have you seen Joe Biden be presidential once
Nope.
in the past 4 years?
Nope.
I think the biggest one, and it's not changing subject, but I mean, he couldn't even be presidential with the whole pullout of Afghanistan.
Oh, that's a whole nother
Hey, did you
thing,
see
man.
the State of the Union thing too? Sorry to change subject. The dad that protested against
Yeah,
that,
they arrested him.
him.
Yeah.
He said he called up at the State of the Union. Hey, what about my son at the pullout of Afghanistan?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, let's go back to the border though, because it's important,
Yeah.
right?
No, yeah, but
all we're
just
talking about is the child trafficking part. Okay. Now let's talk about these military age men that are coming through the border, right? Even if it was just one terrorist coming per day, because how many people are coming per day? 200,000, something like that, some crazy number like that are coming through the border.
I think it is
Okay.
like now it has gotten to the point where it could be like a couple states in the whole United States.
Let's
now.
say
It's like
200,000 of people are coming through the border, and 999 of them are good people.
Yeah.
But then there's that one terrorist that comes that day.
Yeah.
And then the next day, another terrorist.
Well, they
Just
arrested this one
right?
lady. Man, I wish we could look these things up right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna get better at this, guys. We're
But
just
the
this
point
is
I'm trying to
second
make
podcast.
is even if they're all good except one terrorist comes through one day, the next day another terrorist, and another now you have 20 terrorists in our country.
America, in
Right?
the United
How many terrorists did it take to do in 9/11? How many?
two
Yeah, but
for the Twin Towers too,
Yeah.
but then there was
Right.
other ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
So
Pentagon
I mean,
guys.
look, it's only going to take one of these guys to go and blow something up to cause a terror attack here in the United States.
Well, there was a guy
Right.
I think you were mentioning the video that he will. If you guys saw when he was at the border, he's like, "You don't know who I am, but you're gonna find out soon." You
Oh,
ever saw that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there was a guy that straight up, and then they found out who he was, and then he was a terrorist.
Yeah. Well, there was a woman that they arrested who, I guess this woman was some psycho killer who would dismember humans. She left Mexico, and I guess she was part of some cartel.
I heard about
and
that.
they got her in
yeah.
Texas, and she'd take their hearts out. This is who was out here, guys. And you know the other thing that I was thinking about, you know, there was that shooting in New York. I think there was a young military age male, right, in New York. I was trying to think about this. I guess he shot another person in New York, and I was wondering how did this guy get a gun?
How did BLM get the bricks for the riots?
Well, I mean, how do these guys get guns? How do criminals
Just
get
saying.
guns
No, I'm
illegally,
just
right?
kidding. That was
Well, I mean, think about it. The one thing is a person who's here and knows where to get them. But how do you get here from another country and get your hands on a gun?
Well, if you're already walking in without being
how'd
stopped,
that
then you
happen?
probably can carry
now
one
that
in.
you have your laptop,
Maybe he had it with him, right?
Yeah, maybe he carried it in.
not only that, guys, who was the young lady that just got killed by the Venezuelan illegal immigrant? Marjorie Taylor Greene called it out. Did you hear about
The
that
one that Sleepy Joe got the name wrong?
Right, Riley something. If you can search it up.
Lakin Riley.
Lakin Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleepy Joe called her Lincoln.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, you can't even.
I don't wanna laugh at her, but-
how bad can that be, man? You can't even get the girl's name right. You know,
Yeah.
it's.
But not only that,
It's sad,
it's like
It
you
really
said, bro.
is.
How many things or how much more? What needs to happen, I guess, for even liberals to say, okay, this is a disaster to the border, bro. They already killed one citizen, which sadly, rest in peace to the young lady.
And that's what I'm talking about. Even if it's just one that comes and does something
next?
like that.
What
right?
needs to happen for finally, I guessing the left or anyone on the left to say that voted for Biden, like you said, to say, okay, bro, this is it. Like, there's no way. Does there need to be, I guessing, an invasion by them into your house? Does there need to be them blowing up your cars or something like that?
We talked about this before. Until it hits home, and it affects you personally, right? You're not going to open your eyes. It's just gonna be like watching television, and you're desensitized to television, right?
My bad, I forgot.
I think we need to do a quick research on the Communist Manifesto, right? On how to break down a state,
bro,
a city.
that book is-
I mean, how to break down a state. And one of those things is open the border. Let them come in and just be, overpopulate the area. And and take some of their some of the resources, funding, money.
Well, yeah.
Supposedly because they deserve it.
How do you destabilize a country? Well, a country's not a country if there's no borders.
Yeah, they're
That's crazy,
overwhelming
man.
the system to break the system so they can
From within.
and this way they provide a new system
Scary.
because we need a new one.
But it comes down with the guys. It comes down to the idea, the idea our politics are bringing in. This is the Lincoln Riley bill. Think about it. 170.
Don't be Sleepy Joe. Don't call her
Yeah,
Lincoln.
it's
Her
not
name is
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
What's it?
Lakin.
Lakin. I'm so
you're about to get some
I'm so
backlash,
sorry.
man.
Now I guess it's okay then, because maybe it's a mistake that everybody
you
can
know what?
make.
I'm gonna tell you guys, it's contagious.
It's
I'm gonna let Sleepy Joe off the hook on this one. Then.
it's not the China virus.
We take it all back.
Well, there
It's
was
not the
that
China
bill.
virus no more. It's the Joe virus, bro.
Right, exactly. Well, you guys know that there was a bill, right? That was introduced. 170 Democrats said no.
Oh yeah.
Nay.
To not arrest illegal immigrants who've had criminal crimes.
Nay. I mean, you got the
Insanity, man.
you got 170 some of the politicians that the 81 million have voted for just to let everything run free. Everything's okay. Everything's normal here. 300 people are dying of fentanyl use a day.
How many Republicans voted against that?
I think it was how many was it?
Against the
Against that
illegal immigrant bill thing?
Yeah.
They all voted yes, I think. It was only all Democrats that said no. I
Yeah,
think.
and you know what? I'm glad you asked that, man, because people that are listening to this, I know we're bashing the Democrats a lot, but there's these people we call rhinos, right? And it's not just them. It's
Right.
it's a uniparty. It's
McCarthy's.
Yeah, the
call them
McCarthy of the
McCarthys,
world
I call
and the Mitch McConnells.
McConnells.
Interesting that
The Liz Cheneys.
Yeah, the Liz Cheneys of the world. these people, they're all in it together, and
they're implants. They're implants. I mean, the Democrat Party does it right. See, because they know that they can infiltrate the Republican Party just by throwing a truly a Democrat. Throwing a true Democrat to run as a Republican, and then we don't vet and vote somebody in like Liz Cheney, and then guess what? They just help the Democrats. I can guarantee there's not one Republican in the Democrat Party though.
No. Yeah, there is no Democrat that votes conservative, right? That you look and be like, yeah, that guy's really not a Democrat. That guy keeps voting conservative. Like he voted for the pro-life bill, right? Or he voted to cut taxes. No, that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. They're unified, and that's the thing about that party is that they're pretty unified.
Well, the best example I seen where it was a uniparty when they first started sending money to Ukraine. All of them got together for that. I was like, wait, hold on. Let me get this straight. Republicans are talking about going on different platforms saying, oh, look at the Democrats. But yet, like you guys said, they got together and said, yeah, let's send money to Ukraine.
The most corrupt country in the world. Bro. Okay. And this is just my opinion. I'm not putting a tinfoil hat in for this one, but the bottom line is, in my opinion, it's just a money laundering organization. That's it. We're funding these wars. The money's being laundered. The people that are in power are keeping a cut, and then the people that are voting to send this money get their cut, and everybody's happy. That's why these politicians that have been in office for so long have portfolios that are worth millions and millions of dollars.
Interesting, right?
On a salary of what? A public servant salary of 100. I don't even know. And that's probably.
I checked it. 177, I think, K that they're supposed to be earning yearly.
Senators.
77K?
No. If the last time I checked,
it can't be 100.
It can't be.
It was
160.
100. Yeah, around there. Hold on. So
I think the president makes 500,000. Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I remember Trump was getting bashed because he wasn't taking that 400,000 a year. I think he was donating it.
Yeah. It says right. Well, if I'm not mistaken, the compensation for most senators, representative delegates, resident commissioners. Why does it say from Puerto Rico? 174,000.
Oh, there you go.
These levels have remained unchanged since 2009. What's the salary of a U.S. senator? Right. Oh yeah, of a U.S. senator, 174 per year.
Right.
And then Mitch McConnell's worth 60 million. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Hold on.
But they're entitled to do this backpedaling, right? In the back. I mean, sponsors and all this stuff. So I mean,
they're the only ones that can't be charged for insider trading too.
Exactly, right. I mean, remember there was a huge uproar, right, when everybody was saying like we shouldn't have allowed people in Congress to invest money on something. I mean, even that, man, we saw a list. I mean, not too long ago. I mean, this was like a couple months ago. We saw a list of all these Congress people, senators that were investing money into the war. Come on now.
Oh my God.
Oh, there you go.
Come on now. Like,
that explains why you want to continue to fund the war.
Mitch McConnell's worth $35 million, bro.
Yeah.
The guy can't even talk. He's worth that much. I mean, come on, man.
How, bro? How?
Yeah. I mean, but the good thing about the guy is he's gonna retire and he's gonna retire. He's gonna retire in 2027. He'd still be a senator, right, into 2027, but he's gonna retire. He's not gonna say anything. He's just gonna be there.
So what do you think
what does
about
that mean? Does that mean he's going to still get paid until what?
Yeah, basically he's getting paid while he's not doing nothing. What a life, right?
His contract is due on 2027.
You know what, guys? I think I'm running for Congress, bro. That's the good life.
Had I known that when I was in college, I would have took a different path. If I became a politician, I would have been rich.
Right. Yeah, just to call out the hypocrisy, because that way we can bash on some Republicans too. Is Mitch McConnell comes out and endorses Donald Trump. What do you guys think about that?
When did he do this?
Yeah, he just came out.
Well, let me tell you guys.
Say a speech in 2020 that whoever wins the Republican.
So just so you guys get, maybe you guys haven't connected the dots, but Mitch McConnell, remember he condemned Donald Trump for January 6th.
That's right.
Right, and many times called to be unqualified for the job,
but he didn't impeach
so on
him
and
either.
So forth. So he's been anti-Trump, and now that Trump, as soon as Nikki Haley drops out, I think it was either that day or the next day, he comes out and endorses Donald Trump.
Well, that's the same thing we can say about Ted Cruz. I mean,
But
think
isn't
about
that
it.
what they're supposed to do
Well-
as the party? Aren't they, like, Nikki Haley is supposed
Concede.
to concede and endorse Donald Trump, but she's the one that didn't. I think everybody else is supposed
Well,
to.
you know,
I mean,
this-
that's kind of the
What's
the
his name?
rules
Did it?
of
Vivek?
how they do it. Who
Vivek
knows?
dropped
Yeah.
out and he said, "I'm endorsing Trump."
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
I mean,
but you know, in Vivek's case, I mean, he never was anti-Trump.
That's
so,
right.
So
He
it
said
makes
the
sense,
truth.
right? And so you know, Mitch McConnell was anti-Trump, and this is the thing that it really bothers me is the game, because it's not a game. This is our lives, guys. This is our
Your finance.
And I would prefer and would appreciate it if guys like Mitch McConnell would just be honest. Don't put on this fake, you know, endorsing Donald Trump. And I wish Donald Trump, and I know he's not going to do it, and that's the kind of thing that bothered me. It would actually say, you know, I don't want your endorsement. I don't want the endorsement of people that have actually been causing the problems all these years.
Right.
I don't need the endorsement from an insider, corrupt politician like you. You know, I would really appreciate that. And I know he's not going to do it.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing that bothers me about Trump, because, you know, he doesn't go farther. And I guess maybe I'm just being unreasonable, but that's what I liked about Vivek, because Vivek, you know, he didn't hold back. You know,
he
and
called out everybody.
he called out everybody.
He
and-
was the 2016 Trump basically on that panel. Remember 2016
Yeah.
Trump did the same thing, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I just the point here is I the game, man. It's like a soap opera. You know, I heard this somewhere. It's almost like politics. It's like the WWE. You know, where you have, like, you know, back in our time, you know, I stopped watching. You know, it used to be the WWF when I watched.
Yeah.
it.
SmackDown versus Raw.
Yeah, but you know, you had Hulk. You know, Hulk. The Hulkster was an All-American, right? Oh man, Hulk Hogan. You know, he come out with the awesome theme song. You know, I'm a true. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, who's the other guy? Ric
American.
Flair? The
Right.
guy?
So you had the good guys, right? You had the good guys, and then all of a sudden now it's like you got the bad Hulk Hogan. Now he goes to the other
Undertaker
side,
and-
you know, and it's how politics are. It's so fake, man. And I would appreciate honesty.
It's a facade, bro.
It's- yeah.
it's
So,
a facade.
I don't-
mean, what's really happening?
And they get rich. I'm telling you, we
Yeah.
should have ran for Senate, bro.
And if you guys remember,
You can still do it. You're young enough, bro.
I think I'm
I'll
gonna
vote for you.
So back to this, man. I actually was looking at one of the headlines here, and I love to do that headlines over at Citizen Free Press. It says Democrat unanimously reject an amendment forcing U.S. census to stop counting illegals.
oh yeah,
Wow.
So think about it. This is, see, I mean, again, I love it when you know, when Alex says, "Don't make me wear a tinfoil hat," but at the same time, bro, like, bro, you look at
I'm
things.
gonna get a couple of those, and then we're
Yeah, we
about,
gotta
I
wear
think
it
we
next
should,
podcast,
man.
we're
bro.
about to go conspiracy.
We
We'll put it
have
on
to.
real quick.
like this, like
Yep,
All right,
let
guys.
me wear this hat really quick, right?
Yeah, go ahead, bro,
all right.
sorry.
No, but see, that's one of the things, right? This is why, like exactly what Isaac is talking about, dude. Is this a game here? I mean, where are we? I mean, realistically, man, I am so thankful that somebody that's not that's not in the politic arena opened up my eyes to do these kind of research. You know what I mean? That to really make me things that make you go, huh? You know what I mean? Like Democrats, all of them, they don't want, none of the illegals to be counted in the census. Why? But we're giving money. We're providing some of the taxpayer funding, right? Isn't the census is what actually tells what kind of services we can use towards the population. So if now we have a growth spur, right, of 10 million, right? And don't quote me, you can find it yourself. More than 10 million since the beginning of Joe Biden's open border policy, right? Why shouldn't we have the right to count them if we're already paying for it?
well, can you open it? I'm curious about the article, Alfred. Can you
Sure.
open it? Because
Let me open it up. It's on X. It's actually
you have that on?
Greg Price. Greg Price on X. He says not a single Democrat senator just voted for the Senate bill Haggerty's on the amendment to stop illegal aliens from being counted.
So they are being counted in the census. So that, that's what I was trying to figure out exactly what the census is for. Census.
it's basically like the population.
Right, correct me if I'm wrong, and then based on the population is how many delegates you get in certain areas and how many electoral votes and everything that you get. So if they're counting illegals in California, for example,
Tinfoil hat time. Why would they want to stop counting? What do you think, Alex?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well-
And that's the whole point. If they are counting them right now, They voted against stopping to count them.
You know why? Because remember actually, guys, when right now this past election midterms, what happened? California lost House seats. Why? Because the population left. But now they stopped counting. Then eventually, hey,
They
people
get those
move.
House seats
supposedly-
back. No, they'll get them back with illegal
Hey,
aliens.
ladies and gentlemen, if you're
And I'm
listening to
saying
this, it's
illegal
not a
aliens because
tinfoil
that's
hat.
what they were called,
How
illegal
dare
aliens.
you use that song? It's words, sir. You might offend people.
Yeah.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is tinfoil hat time. You know what? We should probably do this next time. Put like a ding tinfoil hat. Because think about it. If California just lost House seats because of the population that moved out, if they stop counting and all that and they get more illegals, hey, look, magically people moved. Hey guys, bring back those House seats. We got more House seats in the Senate.
Yeah, because of all the illegals that they
it's
brought
also-
into the state. Now that makes a lot of sense too. And then all of a sudden they get the right to vote, which they're trying
Power.
to pass in certain areas. Yeah.
Golly, bro. I mean, but this is again. Then if that happens, then we need to. Again, we're modifying constitutions, right? We're doing modifications to
the
state
Constitution, right?
state constitutions, and doing all these things that we shouldn't be doing because of ideas. See
Yeah.
what we're getting to?
Yeah, what I wanted to also add is that the other thing they use the census for is to allocate money.
Right? Exactly.
More
The fund, money,
Yeah,
money.
So they don't want to stop counting because then they get less money also. So, but yeah, it's crazy because why should we be counting illegal immigrants in the census?
Constitutionally, they don't matter.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Okay. The census primary mission is conducting the U.S. Census every 10 years, which allocates the seats of the U.S. House of Representatives to the states based on their population. The Bureau's various censuses and surveys help allocate over $675 billion in federal funds each year, and it assists states, local communities, and businesses make informed decisions. So it's about
Population.
it's about the delegates and the seats in the House, and it's about money.
Right. And some people might be listening to this like, well, no, we should count them because we need that money to help them. But again, this is not what we did not authorize the government to tax us in order to help foreigners. They're supposed to
Help our homeless first. See, I look at these places that are building or this housing for these illegal aliens to come in.
That's crazy, man.
They're housing them in certain places in New York and hotels and all. They're doing all this stuff for them. But what about the homeless?
Yeah.
You know, why don't you do that for them first, or why couldn't you do that for them before?
Well, yeah, they're exposing
they're
themselves. They actually could because
They
they're buying
expose
hotels.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
they
getting
just
free-
expose
just
themselves.
don't wanna do it.
Right? Just like our boy Newsom exposed himself on the cleanup when the
I love
Jinping
it.
China communist came to town. You know what I
And he
mean?
was black-
His buddy came to
Bro,
town. He cleaned
hey.
up all of San Francisco.
Wow.
Bro,
Like
I mean,
that.
he did not quiet that. He came out flat out in the news article. I mean, he was in front of cameras.
And he wasn't
said-
shy about
proud
saying
about
it.
it.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
proud
Might as
about
well
it.
say
I can
proud.
tell like he was red, like you know how he gets red, like red, like he's been in the sun for a couple hours, and he comes on camera and just candidly just says, "Sorry, we needed to clean up. We needed to because we needed to clean up because we had somebody coming to visit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The boss is coming to town.
Right.
Yeah,
The
the boss
boss-
is coming to
Bro,
exactly.
in other words, he should have just said,
our
honestly,
leader is coming to town.
in other words, he should have said, yes, I'm cleaning up because the boss is coming in town. Even though the American citizens voted for me, you don't matter right now. He does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have been more respect. Like, all right, cool. He's honest, bro.
So if we circle back to, I'm going to kind of bridge this to what we're talking about. If we go back to the clip that we listened to and, when Ronald Reagan at the end of the clip, he talks about we're the only country in the world where you need to hire an accountant to do your taxes. And I just went to do my taxes.
Hilarious.
So it's
And that's the truth, right?
It's fresh on my mind. I'm like, oh God, thank God my kids had a lot of write-offs because I was going to owe a lot of money. But but yeah, it's crazy. It's true. Yeah. But the point being, what if we simplified it? See, I'm actually pro flat tax. So this is why they would never do a flat tax, right? And for those of you who have never really thought, I've never heard of a flat tax.
Bro, let me know about that, bro. What is that?
A flat tax?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's basically, let's just say, you know what? You get taxed 10% of your income. That's
Yeah.
it. There's no write-offs. There's no loopholes. There's
I love
no,
that.
there's
I love
no
that.
nothing. It's just 10%. Let's just use that number. We can talk, we can debate what the percentage is. But if you knew exactly what you were going to pay every year, how hard would it be for them to now raise your taxes when they're going to tell you, hey, you know that 10% now, we're proposing to raise it to 15%.
Yeah,
Why?
then you're
Then
gonna
you ask
all of a
them why.
sudden be like,
You could
no,
actually
thank you.
you could
Yeah.
actually do the math and figure it out, right?
Right.
Because let's just be honest. I mean, how many people know? Nobody know. Do you know how much you're going to end up paying at the end of the year in taxes?
Nope.
You don't.
So every
Nope.
time I look at my pay stub,
So
I'm
so
like,
when they
"Bro, what the heck,
propose, you know, hey, we're gonna do a tax increase.
Right.
Nobody can actually sit there and do the math and say, well, how is this actually going to affect my paycheck, right? Why? Because we have all this gymnastics, this progressive tax system, right? That basically makes it nearly impossible
To do it yourself.
To do it yourself,
Yeah.
You know, because there's so many variables, right? It's so complicated. But imagine having a flat tax where you could just at the end of the year or whatever, however you want to allocate that. It's like, okay, it's 10%. You know exactly. You make $100, $10 goes to the government. You keep your $90.
Yeah.
And imagine how hard it would be. How it would be nearly impossible to get anybody to vote for somebody who was proposing anything new that was going to cost more money, because they would have to tell you exactly, or you would know what it's going to cost you now.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, because we don't know. It's unconscious incompetence, right? You don't know what you don't know,
Right.
and it allows them to just continue to push these taxes and continue to raise taxes because you don't really even know what's happening.
Right.
And at the same time, okay, a flat tax is nice, but eliminate all the other nonsense that you
Federal
have to
tax.
pay.
Well, federal tax,
Yeah.
if people read about it, federal tax was only implemented for World War II. That was it. After that, what did government say? Oh, okay, we can
We'll
just
keep 'em.
leave
This-
it. Yeah,
this
it's
is
just this is pretty good. You know, it kind of helped us in the war. But that was
Yeah.
it.
Social
I agree with
Security,
flat tax.
the stuff that you know that you're forced to pay with the Obamacare and all that nonsense that raised our premiums and
Yep.
and lowered the service that we get, right?
Yeah.
It's all that stuff has to go too.
Yeah.
And then the flat tax 10% is good because you keep the 10%, but then you have all these other things you have to pay. We're in the same boat, right?
Yeah, and you know these policies never get turned back, right? So you know once
Exactly.
something passes, you know, when's the last time you actually said, hey, you know, hey guys, we've done such a great job solving homelessness, right? And we've actually cleaned up all these potholes. Remember that
Bro, don't
gas
even get
tax
started
again,
with the
right?
potholes,
Yeah.
Because I think here in California, I think $1 per gallon is actually tax. I think it's about $1 of what we pay at the pump per gallon is tax.
Yeah,
Don't forget
we
that.
pay the most. We pay the most in gas here in California because of all the progressive policies that are
Yeah.
there. You go to any other state, you're going to see at least $1 difference.
Right. You know,
You're welcome, liberals, on getting an unemployment check by my taxes. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, wouldn't it be nice to have, you know, hey guys, we did such a great job that, you know, we're actually going to do away. We no longer need this tax, right?
Yeah.
You'll piss off a lot of politicians
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that never happens, you know. And this is why this takes me to this. This is why it's so difficult for conservatives to win elections, because the way I describe it is this way, right? Conservatives are trying to reduce government, right? You know, real conservatives, not
Yeah.
the Mitch McConnells and the Mitt Romneys of the world.
Limit
Yeah.
it.
A real conservative is wants to reduce the power of government. Let the economy they don't want to give solutions based on government, you know, as much like we talked about last time, right? When there's a law being passed, we're giving up a freedom,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, sometimes you got to weigh that. Is it worth giving up this freedom to get this or solve this problem, right? So I look at it like this: when you have somebody saying, you know what, we don't no longer want to give people food stamps, you know, because we don't believe that's the role of government and we can't afford it, and we need to be better stewards of the money that we're managing here, that we're
Right.
taxing, you know, and we actually believe that it's actually hurting people, you know, or come up with a fair compromise that, for example, I mean, anytime somebody says, okay, well, maybe we won't do away with food stamps, but what we will do is, how about we drug test people
Right.
that are on food stamps? Or how about we come up with a process that actually ensures that they're actually not going to be in food stamps forever? Maybe put a cap. You're going to only be there. Anytime somebody proposes something that makes sense, everybody can agree on, right? Because we all have, as Latinos, we have these conversations. We know, mira, esos, you know, nomás viven ahí como agarrados. Or
Welfero.
yeah, welfero, right? I mean, we criticize those people too, you know. So let's not be hypocrites, right? So you know, you have people politicians that have the solutions, yet we don't back them, right? Our people don't back them, but it's because of this. This is the example I give. It's like, you know, when you have your kids, and let's just say one parent is very, you know, liberal minded, and it's like, oh, you can eat all the candy you want, all the candy. You could go wherever. Oh, go outside and play, ride your bike. You don't even, eat whatever you want, play video games all day, right? That's the easy sell. Oh, they love mom. But then here comes, let's just say that's the mom. But then here comes dad, like, nah, you're not eating that candy.
30 minutes of video games only.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to sell that, right? Mm-hmm. Why? When you have that parent that it's not because they hate you, it's not because they're racist. It's because that candy's going to hurt you,
racist,
right?
Because it's going to harm.
Right.
You know, it's causing harm. Therefore, you know, I'm going to say no. You know, video games,
putting a limit,
right? Putting a limit. It's hard to sell that, right? And that's kind of how I look at liberals and conservatives. Conservatives have the tougher job because the conservatives are the ones saying, no, this isn't good for you, and it's for your benefit, right? I'm not going to just give you the candy. I hate to say it this way because the government is not our parents, but you know, it's kind of a way I can get you to make.
But they try to act like our parents, though. Yeah, I mean, at this point,
don't do this. Yeah, you know, it's this is not good. If we don't take these taxes, you know, it won't help out roads. It won't. And don't get me started. Like you were saying earlier, the potholes, bro. Oh my goodness, I am so annoyed with them. You don't know how pissed off I get, and I have a truck every time I see a pothole and I hit it. Oh, bro, it frustrates me, bro, because it's like, I'm going to end up messing up my truck because our governor doesn't want to fix that pothole. Well, thank you. There you go. My taxes are there, and now I got to put money on my truck. So
it reminds me of the roads in Mexico, bro. I mean, might as well.
Guatemala.
In Guatemala. Make it up. So. Hey, lastly, man, what do you guys think of what's happening? I mean, we got a new RNC chair, and everybody's happy about it. Everybody's talking about it. But in a sense, man, this is Rana's boy, you know. So I'm iffy about it. I mean, if you guys agree, I don't know or disagree.
Co-chair, did you see, right, Alfred?
Co-chair Lara Trump, yes. So that's the only fresh. It's only fresh air I see. But Mr. Whitley here, I have questions, and the reason why I'll say it is because, you know, that's her whip. You know, that's who she chose. You know what I mean? And so if the boss chose you, and the boss did nothing, what's gonna I feel like what's gonna come out of you? So I'm just a little iffy. I don't know if you guys read about it, but I personally,
I don't know too much about either of them to have an opinion, so I'll stay out of this one.
I'd say Lara Trump. I know a little bit. I would say the Lara Trump is a start to put her at least as co-chair to maybe start finally calling out some of the RNC and, like you said, the rhinos in there. The whole thing, say, hey, we said this, but you guys are doing this. Like, look, you see, it's them. They're being rhinos as always. So maybe that's something good that we could start off. That's just me though.
Yeah, you know, I'd have to do more of a deep dive, but just like, even if I knew, I don't trust any of them because you got to give it time to kind of see how it plays out, right? I mean, that's what happened with Mike Johnson. You know, I was kind of excited about it, even though I was skeptical because I thought it was odd that, man, they passed him right through. Jordan, you know, like Jim Jordan, you know, he's the what, 3 rounds? Yeah. And then all of a sudden this guy, and then like they pass him. Like,
he's a Christian and he's...
Yeah. There was a picture that he was praying in the Capitol where I was like, oh, wow, okay. Yeah. And then you see some stuff about Ukraine. You're like, hey, wait, hold up, bro. Like, what is this?
Well, the guy has the power, right, to hold Biden accountable on this border issue. But here we are. It's like, you know, we're again, who came first? The chicken or the egg? You know what I mean?
He could have just let the government shut down. What's the problem? Shut it down. And it's not going to change your life, guys.
Bro,
we're good.
Yeah, it might be better.
That's for another time. I just wanted to say,
shut it down and leave it shut.
I wonder why. Have you noticed too? And this will be. I don't want to keep going because we gotta wrap it up. But that is the other thing too that I wanted to call out on. That is, have you noticed every time the government's about to shut down, they quickly pass and say like, no, we can't shut down. And why? We've been through so many trials as citizens. Why can't you guys go through some trials?
Yeah, well, you know what, and the thing people have to remember is that it's a lie when they scare people that the government's going to shut down. It's not a problem, guys. Our military still gets funded. Essentials still get funded. It's all good. You know,
they lose.
Yeah, they're so some government employees don't get paid for a little while. Like, they're going to get paid. Once they open up, they get paid. It's not a big deal.
But but the problem with that, bro, is like, see, it's the unknowns. People don't know that. I mean, think about it. When the other guy was in control, he shut down. He didn't care. He just, I'm shutting it down. Remember, there was a conversation with Pelosi and Schumer on the couch, and they were having a discussion. I'm shutting it down. I'm gonna shut it down. Remember, there was the media just went crazy, berserk. They were out of control. They were just like, well, it's so you're gonna take this one, right? Remember, Schumer said, so you're gonna take
Trump,
responsibility. Right?
Yeah,
you're
Trump's
gonna take
like, Trump's
No,
like,
he
yeah, I'll
told
take
him.
it.
No, he told him. He said the way he said it was. You're right, but he said it this way. He says if you're gonna shut down the government, then you say it right now. Say that you want to shut down the government. And he's like, okay, I'll say it. If we don't get what we want, whether it's through you, whether it's through Congress, whether it's through the military, I am probably willing to say we will shut down the government. And Chuck Schumer was like, okay, well, we disagree. Of course, that freaking old guy disagrees because he wants to get paid. Freaking scam artist.
And
Sorry, guys. I just get it. I like you guys. It's one of those things. If you ever meet a scam artist, you're like, bro, stop trying to scam me. Like, stop. You're just doing this for you. So but go ahead. I'm sorry, guys.
No, and it just circling back to the Laura Trump and and all that. It's we got to wait and see, guys. Like we talked about before, is trust but verify type. Just have a healthy distrust of everyone. I
like that.
And
I like that.
And the thing is that what evidence do you have that the Trumps ever go after rhinos? You cannot give me one example. They don't do it.
True.
They don't
That's
drain
right.
the swamp.
Actually, we got a video here. The new RNC's chair, Michael Wheatley, says, we have also hired election integrity directors in the battleground states. So he's saying he's going to make it hard for them to not cheat.
Oh, but you also had what's his name, the attorney general come out and say that he has this task force that's going to go out and stop what they consider to be anti-voting policies, like voter ID. So what he's basically was saying was that they're going to go after any state that's trying to implement laws, even though it's their laws. They run their own elections, right?
Stuff, yeah.
That and he gave examples of oppressing votes, and the examples he listed were things like voter ID, doing away with mail-in ballots, and doing away with the drop boxes, right?
And then
so it's again, the voter ID one is the one that drives me the nuts because black people and Latinos know how to get IDs.
Well, apparently they said we can.
It's not a problem.
I can't believe I gotta go on this.
I can have a driver's license. I know I have one.
Isn't it more racist to say that me and you and black people can't get a voter ID, bro?
Right? Why would you imply that that's going to make it more difficult for me to
hard.
vote?
What?
It is hard for Latinos to write them. They don't know how to write the application.
I've done some stupid things, but I'm not that stupid not to go get an ID. Bro.
It's the most ridiculous thing. Forget about the race card.
Yep.
You're voting in this country. You need to be a citizen of this country,
Period.
and you need an ID to prove that you're a citizen of this country.
In Mexico,
That's it.
you have to have a voting card.
Yeah,
in
you
Mexico
do.
to vote.
Yeah,
You get a card.
every other country in the world, you need ID to vote.
Identify yourself, whoever you are, too. Basically,
It's obvious. You start to see the borders, being flooded by illegal. And if these people, if you don't have to show an ID to vote, then all these people can vote.
Yeah, but going back to the video, I mean, I hope so, man. I hope we get a real. I just don't ever get my hopes up because it just I haven't seen it really happen.
Bro, you're like me, bro. You're like I don't know, man. I'm like, I see these articles and I see we're winning, and I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like,
Listen, man, if it was somebody like Mike Lindell, I'd probably be more pumped because I'm like, dude, that dude really is gonna do something.
Bro, Mike Lindell invested all his money, bro. Go after cyber ninjas, and he did it, and then look what happened. Now he's getting. I heard he's like in a battle in court with what is it? Smartmatic or somebody, one of these big
don't
companies.
even get me started, man.
I mean, he's like, he's getting ready to go into a full on. I mean, think about it. Fox got sued, and it was $762
and they paid. That's why I think they lost
and they paid.
credibility a lot because they paid. They're like, we're sorry, we didn't want to stand in our ground. Supposedly that there was a voter interference, but yet CNN was years prior saying that pushing voter interference. I'm tired of. I'm like you guys. I'm just annoyed of 2020. Well, me, I'm annoyed of it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the only people that don't want, voter ID and a nice strong voting system, are the ones that cheat.
Yeah,
Yep.
of course. They don't
That's
want to be caught in a scam, but
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? There's rhinos that probably got their votes by cheating too. And there's, I mean, not just rhinos, just Republicans in general.
Yeah.
So the guys that aren't going after a strong voting system or a voting program that
They don't wanna be exposed.
that's stricter, it works on both sides.
Yeah.
It's not just the left or the Democrat Party.
Yeah, that's
It's both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's where the Uniparty comes together and you know,
yeah.
stand together in unison and don't actually implement
Anything.
that
Yeah.
is going to stop any cheating that happens.
Same thing with term limits, right? You know, both sides don't want term limits. Why? Because then they wouldn't be able to be there for 40 years
Right.
Well, look
as
at
a
Mitch.
Republican.
No, not only that.
Of course they don't want term
Bro,
limits,
the
right?
last lady that goes in a wheelchair, before we close it out, is what's her name? Feinstein. She's in a wheelchair, bro.
She's still
away.
alive. I had no idea.
Bro, what I really don't like
Lord.
about that, bro,
Feinstein, bro, that's crazy.
what I really don't like is how they did it, bro. How they pulled this lady out of the hospital to get her vote, bro. I mean, we saw the pictures. We saw them carrying her, practically just holding her through, like to get her to vote, bro. And then she passes away. Come on now,
Bro, I always start throwing hands.
Oh, did she did pass away?
Yeah,
She did.
I think so.
Yeah, but that's why you got. That's why you got. What's his name? Adam Shifty Shift, and what's his name? The baseball player, right? Going at it in California, which is going good. But in reality, man, you got Shifty Shift saying, "Hey, I'm gonna choose my opponent." He dropped the Democrats, right? Like Katie Porter and the other lady, Lee, right? And he wants to make it more like, more encouraging, right? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna face off two, Republicans. But at the end, think who's running the state, man?
Yeah.
The Democrats.
Yeah.
And just so you know, if my mom was ever a congresswoman and you pulled her out of bed just to go vote, I'm throwing hands on anybody, bro. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Like, bro, leave my mom alone.
This is something I think about too. Is if people ask yourself this question, like these guys, like the Pelosi's and the Mitch McConnells, that are at this age, why are they still doing this? Do you really think that it's because
Money.
they
They're
love this
public
country?
servants.
Money,
Yeah,
money,
yeah.
money.
Well, I mean, listen,
All about the Benjamins, baby.
but I don't know if I don't know if that makes sense because you're already old. Like you've made the money.
That is true. No,
Power.
Power. Okay,
Control.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's something more than more valuable. What is their incentive? Because I don't believe it's love of country, right? I don't believe that they care that much about America, that they're, in their old retirement age, they've made the money. They can retire the rest of their life and not deal with any of this, right? Just go home. I mean, I want to retire as soon as possible. I'm trying to retire in 5 years. I don't want to do anything,
The funny thing about that you mentioned about retiring, I mean, right away, Pelosi went out and bought a nice home, $2.3 million home out in Florida.
Wow! All of a sudden,
It's on the internet.
Bro.
I mean, I'm not, again, research it.
Yeah.
She doesn't like it. I mean, she's now moving from the place she hates, right? This is where all the conservatives are, right? The people they hate, right? Now they're going to, where the conservatives are.
Yeah, and the
Funny.
thing, and there might be people that they listen. Oh, well, what about Donald Trump? He's old too. Why don't you? Well, there's a difference because Donald Trump's actually. This is not helping him. This is actually doing this. He's losing money. He's lost wealth over this.
Yeah. When he was there, what, 3.1 billion? Now he's at 2.8, I think, or 2.5.
Even that, bro. Just think about the last case with their what's her name, Letitia James wants to get $463 million before he can fight.
Right.
I mean, this is just for him to show.
They're just
that he
making
can
rules
fight.
up.
Yeah.
And they're making them up as it goes now with this guy.
This is out of control, man.
But
And it's obvious that they're just doing this to not have him be able to run. I mean, it's obvious. If you don't see that now, then I'm sorry. You're just an idiot.
You're under a rock.
I mean, come on.
You're the real tinfoil person.
If you don't realize that, hey, they're doing this just because they don't want him to be on the ballot. If there was something on this guy, they would have had it a long time ago. I mean, everybody's been after him for the entire time in presidency. What's that? 4 years they're after him, trying to find something on him.
Right.
After he left, these last 4 years they've been trying to find something on him. If you had something, he'd have been in jail already, guys.
Yep.
All right. Now it's just all about not allowing him to be on the ballot. Obvious. And if you can't see it, you're a moron.
Alex, it's been 7 years, brother, since they said they want to see this man in a jumpsuit. All right, in an orange jumpsuit. Okay, so I mean, they got their laughs when they got him in Georgia, right, in the picture, right. Now they want to see that felon title beforehand. So now they can say a felon has won the presidency. Bro, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's ridiculous.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyhow, guys, listen, we had a good chat, good conversation, man. There's a lot to talk about, man. I really like what the Pope is saying to Zelensky. It's time to wave the, somebody now with common sense is coming out and speaking out and saying to the president of Ukraine, it is time to wave that white flag. It's enough. Enough is enough. I think after seeing all the slaughter, I mean, think about it. They've lost so much of their young people out in Ukraine that the Pope finally said, I mean, somebody with a conscience, right? Right? I mean, out here, they want to keep on sending another $80 billion, right? To continue the fighting, but they have no more people to give. I mean, they've lost a lot now. So he's already coming out and waving and say, hey, think about it. Consider it. It is time to do your peace talking. All right. Hey guys, well, thank you so much. We've had enjoyed. Before we go, man, give a last shout outs for you guys, and then we'll cut it loose, man. It's been great.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in again, guys. Just hopefully you guys will follow us and support us. We really want this to grow this platform. I think that we want to bring something that's unique, that speaks to the Latino community. And all Americans, are welcome to listen to us, and we appreciate any comments. You guys, I guess we'll let Alfredo just give all the where we're going to be on the platforms and the addresses, because I don't know them all by heart right now. But yeah, if you guys can follow me on I'm only on Instagram, LTN Patriot. That's Latin Patriot. At Latin Patriot on Instagram, and my name is Isaac Galvez. And we're going to keep this up. We plan on doing this weekly. And God willing, you guys will share this and help us grow this channel.
Cool.
All right, Alex, you good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we're just here to try to inform. That's it, man. And
awesome.
you don't have to believe a word we say, but if you're not going to believe it, at least do your own research and formulate your opinion by doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me, I would just say shout out to all the liberals. Thank you guys for giving us a platform for us to talk about you guys and make you guys cry more. Please, y'all follow Alex and my guys right here. Just help us grow this platform, and for us to just push the Latino community to just think outside the box and stop being manipulated. And we're all Christians, but we have to think logically as well. So shout out to everybody that's listening too. Shout out to my boys here. Shout out to Alfred, Lexit, everybody. Stay blessed and stay healthy. And don't worry, we'll get through this Bidenomics pretty soon. So, yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, everyone. So you guys can plug in. If you want to learn more about Lexit, go ahead and visit www.lexit.com. www.wearelexit.com. Also, you can find them on all the platforms, on YouTube under Lexit Movement, on Getter under Lexit Movement 1, Instagram Lexit Movement, and also you can find us. They're working on the Rumble, so I'm good. I'm hoping that we can get Rumble running pretty soon. But in a sense, man, we want to thank you and see you guys here on the next Horchata Time. God bless. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Take care, guys.